Thank you for joining us today. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us as we pause to give life and recognize National Donate Life Month. My name is Amanda Schellinger, Outreach Manager for National Kidney Foundation of Wisconsin. Alongside our planning partners for this event, including West Bend Community Memorial Library, Versiti Organ and Tissue, as well as individual members of the transplant community. Thank you for being here today. Through your participation in today's event, you are raising public visibility and awareness of organ, tissue, and eye donation. In just a few minutes, at 1:08 p.m., we will be among dozens of Wisconsin hospitals, businesses, and community organizations raising the Donate Life flag to honor donors, recipients, and their families. During today's program, you will have the opportunity to hear from Laura Jones, living kidney donor, and Lee Casati, kidney recipient, both of whom reside right here in Washington County. They've graciously offered to share their stories with us today as a testament to the profound impact organ, eye, and tissue donation can and does have on so many. You will also have the privilege of hearing from City of West Bend Mayor Joel Onger, who has supported this important cause by declaring April as Donate Life Month here in West Bend. Before we get started, let's all take a moment to say a non-denominational Donate Life prayer. Sherry Reichel, living donor, will join me up front to read the prayer.
Thank you. Gracious Lord, your blessings bestowed upon us are bountiful. We thank you for the gift of life that brought us all together today. Thank you to the doctors, nurses, and all the medical personnel that perform the medical miracles of organ, eye, and tissue donation. Thanks for the living donors who are so brave to share their spare. And also thank you to the grieving family members who at the worst of time in their lives allow for a donation to save a complete stranger's life. Thank you for the millions of prospective donors who have registered to offer this gift of life and those who have donated blood. And finally, Lord, thank you for allowing millions to say, thank you for saving my life. In your name we pray, amen.
Since its introduction in 2006 by Donate Life America, the Donate Life flag has become a national symbol of unity, remembrance, and hope, honoring those touched by donation and transplantation across the country and around the world. During the past 2 decades, more than 60,000 Donate Life flags have been flown across America. As we prepare to join so many across the state in displaying this symbol of hope and compassion, I'd like to share with all of you the intention behind the timing of this flag raising, 1:08 p.m. Today, we will raise the Donate Life flag at 1:08 p.m. to recognize the fact that just one organ donor has the power to save up to 8 lives through the gift of donation. Once the flag is raised, we ask you join us in observing a 1 minute and 4 second moment of silence in honor of more than 104,000 patients in the U.S. who are currently waiting for a life-saving organ. So with that, I will direct your attention to the Donate Life flag and ask you all to join me as we pause to give life. Thank you all for joining us in this important observance. At this time, I'd like to introduce a member of our community whose life has been transformed by receiving the gift of life. Please join me in welcoming kidney recipient Lee Casati.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the biggest thing I guess I could say is thank you, because got an extra 9 years and 2 months tomorrow after my transplant. But we better start out with a good old Wisconsin anecdote, and this relates to a man walked in a bar. And that's pretty standard for Wisconsin, right? But he was from Plover, Wisconsin, and he was bicycling around the Gulf Coast. And he runs across a bartender. And the bartender was in sad shape, needing a kidney transplant. And what did Mark say? Mark said, yeah, no problem. We can get her done. And so in his retirement years, Mark has given away 1 kidney, 1 piece of his liver, and also his wife gave away a kidney to a young person. And I think they were involved in some kidney exchanges too. But now, as of today, he's riding around from California to Colorado, up and down the western part of the nation, advocating organ donation. Organ Trail is his website, and following on Facebook and all the other social media things. He was on the Today Show also, and he's a big advocate of National Kidney Foundation. And thank you for Mark. Another situation would be same type of thing. A young lady walks into the Brewer game. Oh yeah, pretty standard, right? One of the 40,000 people going to the Brewer game on a Friday night. Oops, there's a guy named Lenny and his son at the Brewers game. He's got a big fat t-shirt that says, I need a kidney, I'm in pretty bad shape, can you give me a kidney? So Emily from the Wausau area looks it all up and gets a kidney exchange for Lenny also, which is, I'll call it the gift of life, right? My journey started out, and I'm saying I was diagnosed at about age 25 when I had problems, and oh yeah, I think I got high blood pressure, back problems and kidney stones. And when they did some scans, oh yeah, your mother had polycystic kidney disease also. So I guess you're it. Kidneys, cysts enlarge the kidneys and make them pretty non-functional, but it takes a heck of a long time. I had a family, was a Little League coach, insurance broker, husband, father. But at age 63, my filtration rate started to plummet. And in 2016, on Ash Wednesday, my oldest son gave me the miracle of a kidney of his. They took out 2 9-pound kidneys that were non-functional, looking like leprosy on them, big and monstrous, and put in one of his 2-pounders. UW-Madison, can't thank him enough. He was the only one of my 4 children that was not afflicted by this disease. And then I healed up about 6 months later after I started playing pickleball, and now I'm a pickleball aficionado. But I'm not here to blow the trumpet at all. I'm here to make you aware of some organ recipients. Grayson Roosh is a little fella, 5 years old?
Just turned 6.
Just turned 6. Angel, right? Got his kidney donation a year ago?
A year ago.
Dennis from St. Mary's, he's had two kidney transplants. Mike, my son Nicholas's landlord, had lung problems and lung transplant. Dennis from, this is my son now today, he's a superhero for me for sure. Dennis from the Exclusive Company that many of you knew. He ran the Exclusive Company for so many years. He needed a lung transplant. Dylan Presley, who helped here at the library and the YMCA, is an 18, 20-year-old fella that needed a kidney transplant, and one of the instructors at the YMCA helped him out, Megan. Probably you knew Matt Millen, or know Matt Millen, Fox football announcer, and he was the general manager of your Detroit Lions. Tiny Archibald was a small basketball player. He needed him and Matt Millen both had amyloidosis, and they both needed heart transplants pretty much ASAP. Dick from our city here, he needed the lung transplant. Pleasant Rowland, who many of you know as the inventor of the American dolls, she transformed the UW Transplant Clinic into a very viable and modern transplant clinic at UW Madison, but she needed a transplant in the early 2000s. John is over here. He's had his heart for a long time. Alonzo Mourning is another basketball player that from the olden days. Scott Pollard just had a transplant. Complication arises. How do you go find a kidney for a 6'10" person? Selena Gomez, Tracy Morgan, the Saturday Night Live guy, George Lopez, Aaron Davidson was a news anchor on Channel 5 in Green Bay. And also a fellow named Chris Klug. Any of you know his name? He was a organ recipient. He couldn't get his darn Olympic medals till a little fella, 18-year-old, got shot in an argument in Denver, and he got his liver. But Chris started out a foundation, Chris Klug Foundation, with $3,000 the early 2000s, and he's spiraled that into a nationwide organ donation advocacy foundation. And many of you here are, who did I miss? Jeff, organ recipient. Anybody else in the crowd? Got some donors too. The only thing we can say is thank you, and more miracles are needed, more lifesavers are needed. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lee, for sharing your journey and raising visibility of the impact of organ donation. Because you've chosen to spend your afternoon with us today, I imagine that almost everyone here has registered to become a deceased organ donor online or at the DMV. If not, we'd be more than happy to help get you signed up today over refreshments following this portion of the program. However, what you might not realize is that there's no need to wait. Living donation is one way that we can transform lives today. More than 85% of patients currently waiting for a life-saving organ are waiting for a kidney. While most people are born with 2, you only need 1 kidney to live a normal, healthy life. That's why at National Kidney Foundation of Wisconsin, we talk a lot about the opportunity to share your spare. Our next speaker did just that, shared her spare, as a non-directed altruistic kidney donor. I'd like to welcome Laura Jones, who will share a bit about her living donation experience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like Amanda said, my name is Laura Jones. I donated my kidney on Halloween in 2023. My journey started a lot before that. I think my journey really started when I was 17. My dad donated his kidney to his stepbrother. I guess when you're a teenager, you don't really realize what your parents do affects you. When that happened, you know, you go to the hospital, you visit your dad, and then you move on with your life. But I guess a seed was planted back then, and you go on, you're in high school, you move on with your life, and you live your life, and I didn't really think about it. And then I grew up, and life moved on, and one day, really totally out of the blue, I woke up. I was in the shower one morning, and I had a thought, and it was totally out of the blue, and I thought, I need to donate my kidney. And I thought, well, Laura, you're crazy. Your husband just finished a judicial campaign. You have 100 things going on with your life. And I put it in the back of my brain. But the thought just kept coming. And it kept coming hard, and it kept coming strong. And every day it was stronger and stronger and stronger. And the best way I can describe it is it's just like sometimes things happen and they're on your heart, and it felt like a calling. It felt like something that I couldn't ignore. And it was to the point where it was like always there, and it was something I always thought about. To the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. It was something God was telling, I had to do it. That's the best way I could describe it. And I had to sit my husband down and say, he came home one day and I said, Russ, I need to talk to you about something. And I said, I think I need to donate my kidney. And he was like, what in the world are you talking about? Like, this isn't something I ever talked about before. I wasn't involved with the National Kidney Foundation. Like, this was something like totally out of the blue, nothing that I had ever mentioned before. And he's like, well, you're crazy, Laura. Like, you're not donating your kidney. I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, well, I think this is something that I really need to do. So I put in, my dad donated his kidney at UW-Madison, and I said, well, I think this is something that I want to pursue. I've done a lot of research on it, and I think that I just want to try. So I put an application in, and they contacted me, and this is a long process. This isn't something that you just do. Like 25 to 30% of people that apply to be a living donor only get accepted. So it's not something that like anyone can just go and do. And it's a long process. I mean, from the time that I first put my application in to the time that I got accepted was probably about a 9-month process. So you put your application in, you have a lot of screenings with donor advocates. They pull all your medical records. I mean, things they brought up to me are things that I forgot that I even like went through. And then you go to Madison, you have to carry this jug around with you for 24 hours and pee in it for a whole day. I mean, it's a lot. You go to Madison for a full day of screenings, tests, scans, I mean, appointments with psychologists, social workers. I mean, it's a lot. It's a long process. I mean, you got to think that people are like, well, why would you want to do this? I mean, you're the epitome of health. I mean, only 25% of people that apply, like I said, get accepted. I mean, why would you want to do this for someone that you don't even know? So I thought to myself, like I said to my family, well, like, why don't I just try? I mean, the chances that I'm even gonna get accepted are like pretty slim. So, I mean, it's a crazy thing. I have to at least see if it's something that I can even get approved for. And if I do, then this is something that I need to do. But it just felt like, I mean, the best way I can describe it is it just felt like God put this on my heart for that reason and time because somebody somewhere needed my kidney, and I needed to save somebody's life. and I didn't know who, and I didn't know why, but I needed to do it. And so I went, and I went through it all, and then I got a call that I was approved. And I'm emotional and goosebumps when I tell this story, because then it was real. Then it was like, oh, well, now I can't say no. Like, well, that would be a horrible thing to do. And then they said, okay, now you got to make the decision. Do you want to go live on the kidney registry? And I did, and in less than 24 hours, I had a perfect match. And not just a perfect match, like a match like as close as if it was my direct sibling. And Andrea knows how this feels, because this is my friend, dear friend Andrea. She just went through this, not even 3 months, 4 months ago. So she's probably got goosebumps now, because she knows exactly how this feels. And then my surgery got scheduled. And then you go through all of that, and I'm not gonna say it was easy, it was hard. The surgery is hard. I mean, I gotta say it was probably harder than I expected, but would I do it again? In the blink of an eye. And I'm not saying that kidney donation is for everybody, but in politics we call it a call to action. And there's a lot of things you can do, and if you're here just to support and somebody that's in the room with you, or maybe someone that's not with us anymore, there's things that you can do if living organ donation isn't for you. 1 in 3 adults are at risk of chronic kidney disease. Kidney disease is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. So go get your kidneys screened. Don't be one of the 90,000 people that are waiting for a kidney in the United States. Because prevention is the best thing. Make sure you get your kidneys screened. Every 14 minutes, someone new is added to that list. Make sure you get your kidneys screened. Go get that dot on your license. We call her Dottie. If you've ever come to a kidney event, you might see Dottie. She's a real character. Like Amanda said, 1 donor can save 8 lives. This story isn't about me, it's not about Andrea, it's not about any one of us, it's about the bigger picture. And there is hope. We can save lives. Hopefully we can lower those numbers by prevention, or maybe by my story touching somebody, Lee's story touching somebody. And whether you choose to become an organ donor, or to tell my story, or become an organ donor, or donate blood, or whatever, just say yes. Yes to being informed, yes to signing up, yes to helping someone live. So that's my story, and I thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Laura, for sharing your experience and your passion for organ donation. At this time, it is my honor to welcome City of West Bend Mayor Joel Ongert to say a few words of his own on the importance of organ, tissue, and eye donation and the impact it has on our community.
Thank you. I get goosebumps every time I hear Laura tell her story. She is a living superhero, and so is Lee's son. Putting Dottie on your license is so easy to do, and I know that you guys, a lot of you were at the high school this morning talking to our high school students about it. I lead a pretty mundane life. I'm nothing special by any means, but having this on my license means that I could be a superhero maybe when I pass away. I want to recall a story that I just saw in the news about 3 weeks ago, and it's very similar to Laura's story. They interviewed this young woman who was being tested to see if she was a match to help out a family member. And I think it was a kidney, might have been a liver. I should have looked up the story to get the details, but after testing and things, she was not a match. And she was absolutely devastated, as you can imagine. She wanted to be that superhero for her family member. But after about a week of thought and prayer, she went back and said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it to somebody, to save the life of someone who I don't know, in hopes that there is somebody out there that will save my family member. And like I said, the story was about 3 weeks ago. I think it was on the nightly news. but it was just so great leading up to the month of April to share that story, and it was real, and it's very touching. I do want to issue a proclamation today, and give me a second. There's a lot of whereases when I get up to do this, but some of the numbers in here are they're scary, but it just illustrates the need. So, whereas April 2025 is the second annual National Donate Life Month, a time to raise awareness for organ, eye, and tissue donation, encourage Americans to register as donors, and honor those that have saved and healed lives through the gift of donation. And whereas a person's gender, gender identity, gender expression, or sexual orientation does not prevent that person from becoming an organ donor, deceased or living. And whereas all major world religions support organ donation. Whereas 95% of Americans support organ donation, but only 48% register. Yet, one donor can save up to 8 lives through organ donation. Save and heal more than 75 lives through tissue donation. Save up to 3 lives through blood donation, and help restore sight in up to 2 people through cornea transplants. Whereas in 2024, a record 48,149 transplants were performed in the United States. Some of you to people right here in this room that you know and love. Whereas registering gives hope to up to 104,000 plus people waiting for a life-saving organ transplant in the United States, while compassionately celebrating donors and their families for giving the gift of life. And whereas organ, eye, and tissue donation is only possible with our communities and partners coming together for one united purpose. Simply saying yes to organ, eye, and tissue donor is not just checking a box, it's literally saving and healing lives. Now therefore I, Joe Longert, the Mayor of West Bend, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as National Donate Life Month. Thank you for having me.
This is Andrea's story on the news.
That was her. Was it really?
Yeah.
Was it local news or was national?
Yeah.
Awesome. That is so awesome.
Andrea, say a couple words. You're elected.
You want to say a few words? Thank you, Mayor Rongert. I'm going to let Andrea Weissman, recent living kidney donor, pop on and say a few words as well.
I won't take much time, but yes, that was my story
That's awesome.
on TMJ4. Yeah, I was like, that story sounds familiar. That's me. I'm Andrea Weissman. I just became a altruistic living kidney donor on December 4th of this year. My story actually started, my story started way back in 2015 though. I was fortunate enough to survive a car accident, and I shouldn't be here, but God spared me, obviously to do his work at some point in time. Throughout life, I crossed paths with many people in the organ donation world, whether or not they needed to receive something or they were able to give something. But the real true impact actually came 2 years ago when my business partner told me that the kidney that he had received at the age of 13, he was now 36, was no longer functioning and he was gonna have to go back on dialysis. And I'm telling you, I was like, that's not happening. What can I do to help you? And I tested and wasn't a match. And it really, really broke my heart. But I just knew that like I could help in some other way. So I advocated for him, talked to social media, did all that stuff. Social media is wonderful for these kind of things. And we were able to find him a match in Hawaii. He's going through that right now to be able to have the surgery done. And then on social media, a young mom reached out to me and said, I see you do a lot of work with organ donation and especially the National Kidney Foundation. My son, he's 4, and at 7 months old had both of his kidneys removed. He's been on dialysis every day of his entire life. And the only way for him to survive right now is to get a transplant. I said, you got it. What can I do? I shared his story. I advocated for them. People lined up in droves to see if they were a match for this kid. April 16th last year, he received his kidney. And next week, we will be celebrating his 1-year kidney anniversary. 2 days after he received his gift of life, I started my journey. My journey started in April. In August, I found out that I was, in fact, eligible to be a kidney donor. Our dates are so great. Halloween, my profile went live, and the next day I matched. I matched with a complete stranger. Didn't matter to me who it was, didn't matter where they lived, how old they were. I just knew that what I was doing and what I was capable of doing was gonna save somebody else's life. And that was why I was spared in 2015. We had our surgery in December. She was able to spend the holidays with her 5 adult children. She's doing wonderful. And like Laura said, this wasn't an easy journey, but I did it because I could. And that was my answer to everyone who asked me why I was doing it, because I can. And I just hope that other people take that leap if they're able to, or at least just have a conversation. I would do it a million times over, but I can't, obviously. I tell my husband, but I can give piece of my liver. He's like, knock it off. But it's this kidney community and the organ community itself is just a wonderful thing. And I hope that us telling our stories just creates that little droplet and that ripple that we're trying to create, because once our stories aren't told anymore, then it stops. And that's the last thing that we want to happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. So as we close out today's ceremony, I just want to say thank you to the nearly 3 million Wisconsin neighbors who have already said yes to donation by registering as a deceased organ, tissue, and eye donor. Together, we are united in a mission to save and heal lives and create a culture where donation is embraced as a fundamental human responsibility. I also want to remind you of a number we've already mentioned a few times today, 104,000. 104,000 people are currently waiting for a life-saving organ. 104,000 families are hoping, praying for a generous donor to give them a second chance at life. A chance for more years, more memories, and more love. To put this in perspective for us Wisconsinites, 104,000 people is more than you could fit into Lambeau Field and Fiserv Forum combined. Of those 104,000 people, more than 1,400 are right here in Wisconsin. This afternoon, we not only recognize their strength and resilience, but we also honor the hundreds of Wisconsin donors and donor families that have so selflessly given the gift of life and healing through organ, tissue, and eye donation. Throughout April and the rest of the year, we ask you to continue educating your friends and your communities about the need for more registered organ, tissue, and eye donors. Make it your personal mission to ensure your donation decision is registered and to speak to at least one person about donation. When you're raising awareness of organ donation, you never know who you will inspire. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and to Lee, Laura, Mayor Ongert, and Andrea for sharing with us today.